Hey guys, Jeff from Showit here, and today we're going to look at how to create a pop-up canvas in Showit. So there's two main use cases for this. One would be to have a pop-up for some sort of newsletter or opt-in. The other would be for some sort of free resource or lead magnet. So we're going to look at how to do both here today. One with a standard Showit form and the other with a third-party embedded form. So if you're using a mail management system like MailChimp or Flowdesk or something like that, you can use that here as well. So first we're going to take a look at how to do that within just Showit. So down here I've set up a little free opt-in. This is something that I've just simply designed out in Showit. You can see here this is a rectangle. We've got just a little X icon here. These fields are simply just text boxes, and then if I go to the text properties tab here, you'll see we have this enable input checked, which is going to allow visitors to my website to input their information into these fields. You can also choose to turn on some of these other options if needed. So again, this is just a rectangle, just a blank box so that it looks more like a field, and then we've simply set our text boxes on top of that with input enabled. Last but not least, the submit button here. Most importantly, it has to have a click action so that we can check this box, submit contact form. If you're using a standard Showit form, you want this box to be checked because that is the only way it's going to come to you. And at this time, Showit's default is to send those inquiries to the email associated with your account. You can always change that if you'd like, and we have a great help doc on that in our help doc library. Now I've linked my button here to Canvas, this canvas, and the next view. So you'll see here if I click over to the next view, I've got this little thank you message, and I've got get the free guide here. You can actually host a PDF right inside your Showit Media library, which is what I've done here, and this button links out to that PDF. You could also choose to deliver that PDF through your mail client if you'd rather go that route, but both are options. Now let's look at the necessary canvas settings for our pop-up canvas. The canvas type I have set as window height. This is largely personal preference, but this is how I like to create a pop-up canvas. Most importantly, you want to make sure that the stacking order is higher than the other canvases on your page. They should be by default stacking order of 0, except for maybe a sticky menu, which would be 1 or 2. So something like 5 is usually pretty safe. That's going to ensure that it appears on top of our other content, as this canvas is also sticky to top and hidden to start. So it's not going to show in our site unless we tell it to show with some sort of trigger. When it shows, it's going to stick to the top of the site, and it's going to be window height to take over the entire viewing field, and it will be on top of all of our other content. So that is the settings that we want to set up for our pop-up canvas here. And now we're going to use a scroll action here to trigger this canvas. Now, most importantly, my scroll action needs to be on a canvas other than the one that I want the action to be taken for. So I wouldn't put the scroll action on the pop-up canvas itself. I would want to put it perhaps up here. I could add it to an existing canvas like my hero. However, what I like to do is just add a little new canvas, blank canvas, drag it up right under my hero, and then I like to call it trigger here. So this helps me know that this is the canvas intended to trigger my pop-up. I'm going to go ahead and resize it down to about 2 pixels so it's nice and small for us here. And I'm actually going to change this just a little bit. I'm going to change the color so that we can really plainly see, and I'll widen it just a little bit. This is just going to help us see when that trigger is off the screen and triggers our action better. Obviously, if I were building this in my real site, I would want to keep it 2 pixels and blending in with the canvas below. So this trigger canvas is where I want to add my scroll action. So I'll come to scroll actions here with this canvas selected, choose add action. I want the trigger to be when this canvas is off screen. So as this scrolls up past the viewing area, it's going to take this action. I want it to show canvas, and I want the canvas shown to be the freebie pop-up. Now I'm going to check this trigger once box because I don't want this pop-up to trigger every time somebody is browsing up and down my home page. I just want it to trigger once for them while they're on my home page. So now I'm going to go ahead and preview this. We'll pop it out to a full browser preview here. So I'm scrolling down my site. Remember, this is our trigger, which would normally be invisible. So once it goes off screen, there is my pop-up. I can enter my name here, my email. And then when I click submit, you'll see that I get this thank you message. And if I click my button here, I get the free guide right there within the website. So some sort of lead magnet or free offer to engage visitors on your site is one great use case for this pop-up canvas. Now let's say that you have a newsletter that you'd like your visitors to be able to sign up for. What I'm going to do here is set up another pop-up canvas here. And it's already set. You can see we have it hidden to start, sticky to top, window height, and stacking order 5 there. So what I'm going to do next is jump over to ConvertKit, and I'm going to grab a form to embed here. So I'll just grab our conference sign up form. So with embedded forms from third-party platforms, the styling of the form itself is going to be relegated to that platform. So whether it's MailChimp, Flowdesk, ConvertKit, whoever it may be, you're going to want to style the actual fields, these portions, and the button in that platform, because that code is going to control that styling. One pro tip is to try and strip that down as plain as you can, so there's not a lot of styling around the forms. You just want pretty plain forms and your button there. So now that I've got my form all styled how I want, I'm going to click the embed button here. I'm going to copy the HTML code, and then I'm going to jump back over to Showit. So with the canvas selected that I want to add that form to, I'll come to my bottom icon here and add an embed code widget. Then I head over to the embed info tab and click the custom code box, and I just paste that code right in. There you'll see my form loads. I can resize it as needed, and the great thing is now I can build around it. So I could come in here and add a rectangle and size this up so that it fits behind the form, and then drag to reorder there so that the form is on top. So this is how you would kind of change the styling, change the elements around the form. But again, that form is all being generated from the ConvertKit code, as you can see there. So I've got this all together. I'm going to go ahead and add an icon here as well, because just as we have to tell a hidden canvas to show, we also have to tell it to hide. So if this pop-up had no way to hide away again, it would be stuck on screen. So to this particular icon, I'm going to add a click action, and I'm going to use the add action here. The type is hide canvas, and we want it to hide this canvas. So there we go. We've got that pop-up all created now. I'll come back up to my trigger canvas here, and I'm simply going to switch which canvas is triggering to our pop-up third party here. So now if we preview this as we did before, again, we're scrolling down. Here's my trigger. Once that's off screen, there it pops up just like that. And if I don't want to subscribe at the time, I can simply exit out of it. Now, if you do only have a pop-up offer, one last tip is it's always good maybe to put something down here in the footer, some sort of static offer. That way, if I don't decide to interact with a pop-up, but read through your site and decide that I would like to opt into that thing, it's still available to me. One last important note. If you are using an embed form from a third-party platform, you always want to make sure that you get an inline form. Some providers will have different options like a pop-up form. However, there's things in the code of that form that don't always mesh well with Showit. So it's very important to grab just a normal inline form, add it to a canvas that has pop-up functionality. That's going to give you the best result and your visitors the best experience. So I hope this video has been helpful in helping you better understand pop-ups and how to utilize them in your Showit site. Until next time, happy designing.